The begats and the begots in the Bible are God's favorite scriptures that he wrote down in his love letter to us. His favorite scriptures. Good morning. I'm Elizabeth Inman on this St. Patrick's Day. Excited to be reading through the Bible all the way through day 76 of this year. Exciting stuff today, huh? We're in Numbers 26. We're in Luke chapter 2, starting in verse 26. And then we're in Psalms 60. Proverbs 11:15 today. So happy you guys are with us. Let's see who's on. Well, there it is. There we are. We've got Dawn. Good morning, Dawn. Hi, Paul. Good morning, everybody. This beautiful spring day. Like 32 degrees yesterday, going to be 63 today and 91 by Saturday. Gotta love that weather. It is beautiful. This is my favorite time of year. Okay, let's put our prayer requests in. Let's say good morning to each other. Cassie's on with us this morning and Debbie's on. Good morning. There's Tammy. VBS Day. Okay, well, maybe we can catch on replay, Tammy, if you can't stay for the whole thing. It's good to see you on with us this morning. Hope you're doing better. Good morning, Leslie. It's a beautiful Tuesday. It is beautiful. Hi, Nancy. Good morning. Okay, we'll get started. We've got ladies leaving we've got about 25, I think, altogether, ladies leaving Oklahoma to travel to Wisconsin for a leadership conference. There's Mom's puppy, Sheba. She's staying the week with us. She came by to say good morning this morning. Don't know where she went to. So if you guys would pray, we've got long days on the road, that's for sure. But we're going to have a great time together. 3 ministries coming together for leadership training for their leaders. There's Sheba. Good morning. And then we've got a retreat coming up, April 17th, 18th, and 19th. You can register for that on our app, Dream Big Today. Download the free app. You can find the link for it on Facebook as well, Dream Big Today. Be sure and share the Dream Big Today page. A lot of people don't understand that's where the daily Bible study is at. It's on Dream Big Today and on the YouTube channel as well. Okay, let's get started. We'll pick up in Numbers chapter 26. We're going to read things like, after the plague had ended. This was, I've got it written down in yesterday's reading. It's at least the 10th time, I've got it numbered, or maybe the 12th time that the people murmured and complained and it angered God. Just for a point of reference there, murmuring and complaining. And today, after the plague had ended, the Lord said to Moses and to Eleazar, son of Aaron the priest, from the whole community of Israel, record the names of all the warriors by their families. List all the men 20 years old or older who are able to go to war. What if every single time you turn to the Bible and they're listing the names, you had the thought that perhaps this is God's favorite scriptures? It's not fun to read necessarily. I mean, it says, these were the clans descended from the sons of Gad, verse 15. The Zephaniah clan, named after their ancestor Zephon. The Haggite clan, named after their ancestor Haggai. The Shunite clan, named after their ancestor Shuni. The Oznite clan, named after their ancestor Ozni. The Erite clan, named after their ancestor Eri. The Eridite clan, named after their ancestor Erodi. The Arielite clan, named after their ancestor Ariel. And these were the clans of Gad. Their registered troops numbered 40,500. Interesting reading, right? But perhaps the most precious to God of the Bible. It is how we prove the Bible true. It has a lot to do with the fact they cannot disprove the Bible. It also proves Jesus true. So here's the second generation being counted after the wilderness. Even after loss, even after murmuring and complaining, even after the wandering, God's promise still stands. He still counts his people. Our past does not disqualify us. Hi, good morning. Hello there. You guys want to come say hi on the video? Yeah, come say hi.
Hi.
Look who's with us today during spring break. Harley and Marley. Yeah, we're so happy you guys are here. It's been a while. Our past doesn't disqualify us. We're not overlooked. God knows us. He doesn't just know us, he knows us by name. Not just a number. God's telling you today, God's speaking to you today, Harley, and saying, I know you. I know your name, Marley. I see you. And I've not forgotten you. He's not forgotten you. Doesn't matter how young you are. Doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how many mistakes you've made. He knows your voice. He knows your heart. And he knows your calling. See, reading Numbers chapter 26, 1 through 51, when they start talking about the allotment of land and everything else that's involved in these readings, you get to realizing that the provision was determined way before the possession. See, God had a plan for the promised land. Oh, that's why it was called promised land. God had a plan for the promised land. He had a promise to be fulfilled over there, over the Jordan, before they ever went and possessed it. Well, that applies to you today. God has a plan for your life. It's a plan to prosper you, not to harm you. It's a plan to give you a future and a hope. Another translation will say that it's an expected end. And the provision has already been made for that promise. Man, Mama Mary, that's good news. That's good news. We can't just sit back and say, oh, well, it's too late. I've made too many mistakes. His plan doesn't change because we make mistakes. That's encouraging. That's encouraging. We don't even have to strive to earn it. It's a free gift from him. We just have to walk into it. We're literally walking into the provision. We're walking in one step at a time, one foot in front of the other foot, one step at a time. Well, we are fulfilling the promise God has for our life. It's a matter of perspective. I was just listening to Myron Golden right before I came in here, and he's a man that contracted polio in the hospital where he was born. He's a black man, and he was born in a segregated hospital. Did not have the medications that was afforded to the other hospitals in the area. and he contracted polio. And by the time they got him transferred to a place that would treat him, his leg had already been shriveled up. So he grew up wearing braces. He grew up crippled. And then he goes on to say that how many worse and worse and worse and worse things had been done to him his whole life. And he said, but I can't consider any of it bad. He said, God slowed me down so I would learn more. He's extremely athletic. He talked about being 140 pounds in high school and could bench press 288. He was very, very athletic, even though he was crippled. I don't even like to use that word because nothing crippled him. Nothing crippled him. See, his perspective was on the truth, that God turns all things to good. So he said, I could say all these bad things that's happened to me. He said, but I don't get to make that choice. God's the one who determines what's good and bad. He said, everything was turned to good for me. And he's highly, highly successful preaching and teaching thousands and thousands and thousands of people now on the things of God. What a way to look at our past. And instead of sitting around saying, oh, woe is me, God turned that for good. God turned that for good. I can say that everything bad in my life has been turned for good. It has been turned for good. But I'm determined I'm not going to live depressed. I'm not going to live down. I'm not going to live, woe is me. And reading all this helps that. I mean, Moses isn't the only one God said, write this down. David did it. David was told to write it down. And then David did it when he wasn't told to write it down. We'll read in the coming months. And bad things happened when David took a census when God didn't tell him to. Yeah, provision determined before possession, not striving to earn it, just walking into it. And the next generation carries the promise forward. The next generation, I've got 2 generations at my table. I've got the next generation here in the businesses that God created, carrying it forward. We're actively working on that, carrying it forward. And then we've got the next generation that'll carry it on beyond that. I mean, I think about the Wright brothers flying the first airplane. And I wonder what they would think about our jets or the B-1 bomber or some of these pictures that's flying all over our screen of these aircraft that's being used in the war. What would the Wright brothers think about that? The next generation carries the promise forward, the promise of a plan that God has for our life that will prosper us and not harm us, that gives us a future and a hope. One generation builds on the next generation, on the next generation. And I believe that every name written down in this book is God's favorite. I believe that I'm his favorite. Marley, are you God's favorite?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Montana, you're God's favorite. Harley, you're God's favorite. Brandy, you're God's favorite. Luke chapter 2, verses 36 through 52 is all about identity. Once again, identity. I mean, you do realize we just read about Numbers 26 is a powerful whisper from God about identity, legacy, and being counted in him. When they wrote this down, they were being counted in him. It was Israelites, his chosen people. We are counted in him. And now here we are talking about identity and intimacy, starting right off the back. Anna, a prophet. Oh, a female prophet? Wait a minute. I thought women weren't supposed to be able to... Yeah, that's what men did for many, 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 many centuries. but it was never God's heart. Right here, he identifies her as his prophet. He wrote it down. She's not the only one. Deborah, Miriam, first of all, was sister of Moses, Exodus 15:20, identified as a prophet. Deborah, the judge, in Judges 4:4. Huldah, wife of Shallum, in 2 Chronicles 34:12. And then Philip's four unmarried daughters in Acts 2:19. Oh, okay, I digress. Let's get back to the identity and intimacy. Anna, let me just read it. I can read it better than I can say it. Was also there in the temple. She was the daughter of Phanuel from the tribe of Asher, and she was very old. Her husband died when they had been married for only 7 years. She's been alone all these years. Then she lived as a widow to the age of 84. She never left the temple, but stayed there day and night, worshiping God with fasting and prayer, waiting on the Messiah. Waiting on the Messiah. You're never too old to fulfill the purpose that God has for you through your identity. Identity. Can you imagine spending your life in the temple, fasting and praying and prophesying all the time? You want to talk about intimacy with God. She had a level of intimacy that allowed her to be the one who identified Jesus as Messiah, that baby. See, her intimacy allowed her to know him instantly. Do you know him instantly? Do you have that kind of intimacy with him? Man, intimacy sharpens our vision so that we can see things that are not as though it seems. Things are not as they seem. Intimacy sharpens our vision. Are we seeing things? Or are we just existing? Just go through the motions. See, when you see things, it excites you. You can't sit still after you've seen things. After you've been intimate with him, you can't sit still. You can't become bored when you're intimate with him. It's impossible. You got to move. I mean, she had some kind of an encounter with God back in the days before the Holy Spirit indwelled in them that gave her the perseverance to stay in that temple day in and day out, fasting and praying. So your devotion, your prayer, your time, your consistency, your heart towards God is not unnoticed, nor is it wasted. Oh, I get up, I read every day. I got into the numbers. It's all about the numbers. This clan, that tribe, this. What difference does it make? Day in, day out, I do that. It makes all the difference in the world. God sees it all. It all matters to him. Every bit of it. It doesn't matter if man recognizes you. It doesn't matter if someone calls you or don't call you. There was a period of time in my mom's life that she felt very left out, very rejected because she made all the phone calls. She would complain to us kids that I'm going to quit calling. I'm going to quit calling so-and-so. They never call me back. They never call me back. We get our feelings hurt. We get all up in arms because somebody's rejected us. You see, in him, we can never be rejected. It turned into being the very thing that was my mom's ministry. She knew she had been called to make those phone calls. When you're doing it for the Father, no longer does it matter who recognizes you, who doesn't, who comes by to visit you, who doesn't. You do everything that you do. I mean, what an example Anna sets for us. Oh, and we think we don't like our job. We think This is just too hard. Then we read about Anna, the prophet. Wow. Spiritual sensitivity comes from our dedication, from our sacrifice to pick up this book and read it every day. Spiritual sensitivity, that I can sense things. I know things are happening. And I want to make sense of it. And I want to make sure I'm on the narrow road doing it. I don't want to get off into Spookyville. I don't have to have the goosebumps. I don't have to get laid out every time I go to church. In fact, if we start craving that stuff, we are so far off into the ditch, it's not even funny. Have I said I only speak from things that comes up from myself, my heart? You can be just as intimacy sitting in the pew listening. In fact, we may become more intimate through our quiet times in our prayer closet, wherever that is. It can be out on a rock in your backyard. Doesn't have to be some fancy little... No, don't make it about the stuff. Make it all about Him. All about Him. Spiritual sensitivity. The ones who stays close to Him sees clearly. I want to see clearly. When I'm seeing clearly, nothing can cloud my path. Nothing can distract me. Yeah. And then it ends with, man, there's just so much. So he's 12 years old. His mom and dad leaves him behind. They don't know that he's not with them. Back then they traveled, because they had to travel great distances to get there to the temple. And so they traveled in groups. Lots of friends, lots of relatives. It's not like it is today that we get in the car, start the car, head down the road, and 15 miles later we realize that Marley's not in the vehicle with us. Oh, we forgot Marley. We gotta go back and get. It's not like that. It wasn't like that back then. Family depended on family. Friends were there for friends. But Jesus got left behind. And he tells them, but why would you need to search? Didn't you know that I must be in my Father's house? And even Joseph and Mary didn't understand him. Then he returned to Nazareth, verse 51, with them and was obedient to them. And his mother stored all these things in her heart. Hide this word in my heart. But this is what I want to talk about. Jesus grew in wisdom and in stature and in favor with God and all the people. He still had to grow. You don't grow to become who God called you. You grow because you are called. And we're just walking it out. Day by day, we walk it out. We walk out the call that God has on our life. Things inside you that you already know, and you don't know how you know it. There's things inside of you that you know, and you don't know how you know it. It's because the Spirit of God's placed it in you. You walk into a room and you look around and you scan, and you know that person over there is going through a period of deep, deep pain. How did you know that? The Holy Spirit placed that in you. Jesus grew in wisdom and in stature and in favor with God. Those things inside you that you already know, but you don't know on your own. It's because that intimacy, that time, that consistency you're spending with Him, that pull that you feel the pull. In fact, it's that pull that won't let you stay stagnant. It's the reason why you have this discontent in you, is because there's a pull from God on your life. That pull that you feel, the clarity that you just can't quite explain, that calling that won't go away. That is your Father's business. We're to be about our Father's business every day. God is in the big calling, but God is in the daily obedience. Daily obedience. Psalms 60. It's a psalm of David, useful for teaching regarding the time that David fought an army. And Joab returned and killed 12,000 Edomites in the Valley of Salt. Have you ever seen 12,000 people killed? Have you ever had to fight a war yourself? You've rejected us, O God, and broken our defenses. You've been angry with us. Now restore us to your favor. You've shaken our land and split it open. Pretty relevant for today, huh? At least in America. Not just in America. In all the other countries right now where the bombs are dropping. The bullets are ricocheting. The drones are being shot down. You have shaken our land and split it open. Seal the cracks, for the land trembles. Now rescue your beloved people. Answer and save us by your power. God has promised this by his holiness. I will divide up Shechem with joy. I will measure out the valley of Succoth. Gilead is mine and Manasseh too. He's just telling you right now today, you're his. That's what that's saying. You are his. Verse 11. Oh, please help us against our enemies, for all human help is useless. All human help is useless. It's why we should be on our knees praying for the leaders of all of our countries, wherever we live. All the time. Human help is useless. With God's help, we will do mighty things. There's my nugget. With God's help, we will do mighty. What mighty things are you doing in the kingdom of God? What mighty things are you doing? What did you do yesterday? What is God's plan for today? Lord, what do you want me to know today? And then Proverbs 11:15. There's danger in putting up security for a stranger's debt. It's safer not to guarantee another person's debt.